welcome to another edition of Health Solutions with Shawn and Janet Needham, where Team Needham discusses everything healthcare. I'm your host, Shawn Needham, and I am streaming live from the Team Needham podcast studio, and I am super excited to have Silvia Subirana on our show today to talk about MyDry30, which is actually a phone app that can help us improve our relationship with alcohol. Not necessarily go completely dry, but just kind of improve our relationship with alcohol. We talk about on our podcast all the time about alcohol and its detriments to our overall diet. And we talk about food apps and how you track calories, and we're going to learn about that with alcohol today. So Silvia, welcome to our show.
Thank you for having me here. I'm very excited.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about yourself.
So I am a clinical psychologist, and I haven't drunk alcohol for like 5 or 6 years. So it's been like some time for me since I decided to just stop drinking, and I really saw the benefits of it. And I also realized how everyone around me just was always like, drinking is very like socially acceptable, right? So through MyDry30, we want to help people see the benefits of not drinking at any age.
And I'm going to, as a pharmacist, I'm going to just pipe in a little bit about alcohol. And I've said it many times before, and I hope I'm not going to offend you when I say this, but alcohol is a poison. And we have to commonly tell that to people, and I'm not saying that it can't be used in moderation, but people need to understand that there are side effects from alcohol at any amount when you ingest it.
Yep, definitely. So we explain all that in the app, and then everyone that uses it can make the decision of, yeah, I actually don't want to put those toxins in my body anymore. Like, for example, I did in the past. Or people say, oh, I just want to have a healthier relationship and just drink when I want to and choose to drink, I don't know, 2 beers instead of drinking 5 or 6, So being able to make that decision consciously and being happy with the choice that they make.
Yeah. And so what were some of the benefits that you saw when you stopped drinking personally?
So for me, I stopped drinking because I was having a lot of gut issues. So when I stopped drinking, I just straight away saw that all my gut was just less inflamed. I was really bloated when I was drinking. So all that bloating went away. I had just a better relationship with my diet in general because I was more sensitive to different types of food when I was also drinking. I never drank a lot, but I just like drunk regularly or like during the weekends and stuff. So I don't know, my gut was very, very resented. And as soon as I stopped drinking, I saw how my gut just like, I don't know, it made their function way nicer, like way easier, right? So I also saw that I could sleep more deeply because I had always struggled with sleep, and everyone tells you, oh yeah, like if you drink a little bit of alcohol you sleep better, but that's like such a massive lie because it happened the opposite. Because as soon as I stopped drinking, I just felt it took me a bit longer to fall asleep, but once I was asleep, I was like, I could feel rested the day after. And later on, when I started like learning a bit more about what alcohol does, and I studied it as well, I saw the reasons why.
Yeah, that's a big misnomer. Is everybody says, well, I just need 2 glasses of wine or 2 beers to go to sleep. And it is true that alcohol is a CNS depressant. So it helps us to relax us and to go to sleep initially. Here's the problem. 4 hours later, it wears off and your sleep is horrible. So the reality of it is it disrupts your sleep more than it helps your sleep. So anytime you're using any kind of medication, including alcohol, to try to induce your sleep and get better sleep, there's a big problem. You're not going to get better sleep with any kind of drug, including alcohol.
I always tell my patients that if you drink alcohol, if you use alcohol to fall asleep, your body will not rest because your body is working to get rid of those toxins, right? Those toxins created by alcohol. So in the end, your body is overworking. So that's why you feel so tired the next day because your body's been like very, very busy all night.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, it's one of the things you talked about drinking being socially acceptable. Um, and I'm definitely not picking on anybody that drinks. But it is amazing that how alcohol is one of the only drugs, maybe the only drug where when you don't use it, people ask you, "What? You don't drink?" They think you're weird.
Mhm.
And it's also the only drug that is kind of socially acceptable that you just kind of expected to partake in.
Definitely. And that's something that really shocked me when I stopped drinking because obviously my friends knew that I was having gut issues. So at first I was, no, I'm not drinking because I'm having gut issues. But when those issues went away, I saw the benefits and I was like, I don't want to go back to that. So people would still ask me, "Oh, why are you not drinking now that you're healthy?" And I was just like, well, because I want to continue being healthy, right?
Right,
And
right, right.
yeah, and I still like today when I meet new people, the first question that they ask is, "Why are you not drinking?" Because I love drinking water, so I always have a glass of water like in front of me. And I just like for me it's a no-brainer. Like I will always choose water. In my case, some people choose, I don't know, like smoothies or soft drinks or other options, right? But of course that's with sugar and all these things is also debatable sometimes. But yeah, it's one of the things that really shocked me the most, the amount of people that asked me, why are you not drinking? But at the same time, when people tell me I'm scared of people asking me all the time, like this question, I always say, yeah, they ask it a lot, but it's a conversation that lasts 30 seconds because after that, people move on. Because
That's
in the end,
right.
people don't really care.
Yeah, that is absolutely true. And I will say this too, that there might be somebody out there that might be struggling with alcohol and struggling to say no. And when you are one of those people that say, well, I'm just not drinking tonight or whatever, um, I've seen that be inspiring to other people to say, you know what, I'm just going to look at my relationship with alcohol too. I'm sure you've had that same thing happen with you because of how you changed your relationship with alcohol.
Definitely. A lot of people tell me, I don't know how you do it because you see people all around you drinking alcohol, and why don't you have the urge to, like, I don't know, have a beer or have a cocktail or have like a glass of wine? And I always tell them it's not that I don't have the urge because I've had it sometimes. I've had the idea of now I would drink like a nice cocktail, right? Because there's some very nice cocktails out there. Um, but then I remind myself of how it affects my body, how I won't feel better after drinking alcohol. I will feel way worse. It will probably end up ruining my night because I will think, why have I done this to myself? Right. So in the end, it's not worth it for me. So I always remind them that if they believe that they don't want to drink, they just need to make it part of their life story or their values, right? So it just it's there's not a choice. It's for me, it's always like no.
Well, it really is. It's life changing, and it's really like changing your diet. When you
Hmm.
start eating foods that when you stop eating foods that were causing you problems, you're not going to, go back to eating them, whether it be gluten or whether it be lactose or whatever food is causing you problems. It's a lifelong journey. It's a lifelong change. It's not something that you really can go back to unless you want to have the same ill effects that it had with you before.
Exactly. Exactly.
So tell me on your MyDry30 app. We're going to go ahead and stream it here. Tell me a little bit about the app.
So this app is promotes a 30-day program where people are not going to drink, but it's different from other dry challenges or dry programs because we want to help people, as I said before, change their habits in the root of the habit. And we do that with hypnotherapy because we studied it and we saw that hypnotherapy has a lot of effects, like benefits for the unconscious, and it helps people understand more their values and be more in contact with what they want to achieve.
So you mentioned that it's not a completely you don't abstain completely from alcohol, but do you the first 30 days?
Yes, so for the first 30 days we promote that somebody just breaks that cycle of drinking alcohol and like try 30 days dry, and then after those 30 days you have the choice, right? You can choose if you want to continue dry or if you want to continue drinking but more moderately. We're developing now two programs, a dry program and a moderation program for those 60 days after those first 30 days, because we know that 30 days to create a habit, it's a good start, but it's a bit short. So we want to help people get better, way better with their habits. And we're making it a 90-day program because we know that after 90 days, there's way more chances of success.
Right. So tell me how, after the first 30 days of being abstaining completely, tell me how this app helps you with your relationship of alcohol, with quantity. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so hypnotherapy is the key for it. Hypnotherapy, you'll be listening to 15-minute audios every day, and those audios will relax you because obviously when people hear of hypnotherapy, they think of the hypnosis that they've shown us in the movies, right? When then they just swing a pendant in front of your face and then just click the fingers and then you're gone.
Yeah.
And that's not how hypnosis works. In reality, hypnosis or hypnotherapy is just it's state of deep relaxation where all those worries, all that noise that we have in our consciousness just dials down, so we can listen more to our values, to our unconscious, right? Because obviously we are not listening to it on our daily lives. There's so many things that we do unconsciously, and people sometimes are a bit reluctant of hypnotherapy, right? They feel a bit weird or they feel a bit scared. Like, what am I going to do? Am I going to do anything against my values? Am I going to be, I don't know, robbing a bank, right? And that's not how it works. You will always do something that is aligned with what you believe in. And simply, you'll still understand and listen to everything that the audio will tell you, but the audio will suggest you're not going to drink, you're not going to have the urge, you're going to have a walk instead of drinking. And then little by little, your urges just start to have less and less power. They don't completely disappear, but they really lose that power, because what hypnotherapy does is it connects a lot. It makes a very strong bond between the mind and the body, which of course they're always very connected, right? So by strengthening this bond, because sometimes when we are very nervous, when we're very tense mentally, our body is tense as well. So our mind can create an effect in our body. So hypnotherapy does the opposite. It creates an effect on the body, which is relaxation. So then the effect goes in the mind, and the mind also relaxes. So little by little, when we think of alcohol, instead of that urge or that anxiousness that comes sometimes with the thought of drinking alcohol, that feeling will be little by little substituted with this relaxed state.
And so how does the initial program start? Do they have a meeting with you first before they download the app, or they just download the app and go from there?
They download the app and then they have like a little explanation of how it works, and they can have a meeting with me or other coaches and psychologists that are inside of the app. if they need extra help or if they want to address a specific thing in particular. But in general, there's like instructions, and then anyone can do it themselves. It's 30 minutes a day. There's 15 minutes of hypnotherapy, and then there's 10 minutes of mental, like reflection, journaling, where we suggest different questions, or like anyone can write about anything they want. And then there's 5 minutes of reading, which is about a topic that is related to mental health or physical health in general, like how to create healthy habits, or the importance of creating good connections, or how peer pressure, and what we were talking about before, affects your habits and your drinking intake, and many other topics.
So tell me a little bit about how I'm trying to understand and maybe some of our listeners and viewers are thinking the same. I'm trying to understand, because always when we learn about alcohol, relationship with alcohol, if somebody has a drinking problem, it's all or nothing. So tell me how this app helps him moderate alcohol. So what does that mean? Does that mean, is it different for everybody? What does that mean?
So this app, I would say that, of course, if someone has like quite a strong problem with alcohol, this app, like, you need to go to the hospital, right? You need to go to rehab, because obviously nothing will work apart from like doing a proper medical treatment. This app is more towards people that are having this like thoughts of, I think I drink too much, I want to start like moderating, or I want to stop, right? And about what you were saying, if it's for everyone or how does it work, because everyone says it's either all or nothing, it really depends on the person. And I've really seen people being able to moderate for years, but then there's some people that if they just have one drink, they just cannot moderate, and they're going to go for the all, right? So it really depends on the person and how they can set the boundaries and how they can have that relationship with alcohol. But in the end, the most important thing is that everyone just sticks to what feels right for them. And that's what we try to promote.
I see. So can you tell us a success story that you guys have had with this app?
So I always think of this story because it was even before the app was released. When we created the hypnotherapy program, the sessions, we wrote down the scripts. We contacted a model and an actress that has a very beautiful voice. So she had to record all the sessions. And she's from Texas. She always says that she doesn't drink too much, but she loves going to football games and having some beers with it. And it's just part of her routine, right? So when she started recording those hypnotherapy sessions for us, she just realized after a couple of weeks of recording that she had just stopped drinking. She was like, I only had one beer this week when I normally have 5 or 6, because now my fridge is full, when normally at this time of the week I have to go to the shop and buy more, right? So for us, I remember this, like, looking at the team saying, this really helps, because even if someone that doesn't have the intention to quit drinking has seen the benefits, someone that has that intention will really see the benefits, and possibly even faster than her.
Yeah. It's also a reminder, that what we put in our minds, the words we speak, things like that, really help our actions, right?
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
And you being a psychologist, you probably teach people that. I'm not sure, but maybe you do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And I always remind people that we talk to ourselves in such like poor ways. Like, we're always so critical with ourselves, and we treat ourselves like we would never treat someone we love like that, but we say awful things to ourselves. So those things are always, they stick with us, and that can be like life changing, really, if you stop talking to yourself in such a negative way and start talking to yourself with more grace. That can really be a huge like drift in your life.
Yeah, it's just the power of positive thoughts and being
Mhm.
positive, thinking about ourselves. I always think of the term that one of my coaches in high school said, and it wasn't original to him. I don't know who originally said it, but whether you think you're a winner or a loser, you're right. Whatever you think about yourself, you can is going to make changes in your life. That's for sure.
Yeah. And like, even though I say that, I never defend over positivism, because I also understand that we're in a world where we have those messages of over positivism and over like going to
Mhm.
the other extreme, which is not good either, because then we promote something that is neglecting uncomfortable emotions that are necessary, and we need to feel them in life, because life cannot always be good, right? There's bad things in life as well, and we have to accept that.
Yeah, I mean, we have to still be realistic, right?
Exactly.
Right. So on this app, when somebody downloads it, is it something and they go through the first 30 days being dry, then 90 days changing their habits? Is it something that you've seen that people keep using, constantly to help their relationship with alcohol?
So it depends on the person. There's some people that just do the first 30 days, and then they think that they can deal with it and have a better relationship with alcohol. And it's just, we provide other tools as well, other resources and exercises that they can still access and do after those 30 days, which like that's like an extension of the program. Exercises related to many things like gratitude, or how to deal with strong emotions, or relaxations, like videos and stuff like that. But then some people like doing it again, and they just start from scratch, because by day 30 you don't remember what you listened to on day one, right? So a lot of people just like do it 2 or 3 times those 30 days, and they listen to that hypnotherapy, because in the end it's just a time for them to relax and take in the message of not drinking.
Yeah, and I can, this is we've had other people on our show before, and they're about problem how to treat problems with alcohol, and this is the most unique one I've ever seen. I've never seen anything like this, so it's very interesting to me, and I hope that we get some interest for this, because alcohol is a very, just like we said at the introduction of the show. I mean, alcohol is when it comes to overall health, alcohol can definitely affect our overall health. And it's really, I know when we talk about weight loss a lot, and we coach people on weight loss. And I mean, if somebody is really, really interested in losing weight, and they're really serious about losing weight, they're going to have to really, really consider their relationship with alcohol. Um, and some people aren't willing to give that up. When they lose weight, and if that's the case, I say they don't want to lose weight that bad. And I'm not saying that you can't lose weight while you drink, but I will say it's a lot more difficult, that's for sure, because alcohol is just wasted calories. It is nothing there's nothing nutritious about it. It's just empty calories.
Definitely. Not only the alcohol or like the liquor, but also the soft drink that we add on top of it. So it's just
Right.
sugar, and it's nothing nothing really good for the body.
Right. Well, and it's more than just the calories too with alcohol. And I don't know, pharmacologically or pharmacokinetically how to explain it, but it because it is a toxin in the body, it puts a burden on the body where the body can't, it's got to get rid of this toxin. It sees it as a poison. So the body can't get rid of it. The body has to spend energy getting rid of it instead of energy, making your body healthy and recovering from workouts and repairing any kind of damages that are in your body. It's got to repair. It's got to try to get rid of the toxins. So that already takes up a lot of energy that is wasted, not doing something else helping your body recover.
Definitely, and it also messes with the neurotransmitters and
For
brain
sure.
function, and in the end, we generate that tolerance if we keep drinking, and that tolerance, well, obviously, it can lead to addiction, but that tolerance in reality is just those spikes of dopamine that we feel when we drink alcohol, which gives us that boost, that pleasure, right? That I want to keep doing that. But in the end, tolerance is a way of like the body protecting itself, right? Even though it's it's not the best, but it's because alcohol is not acting healthily in our bodies. So our body tries to deal with it in the way that they can, and in the end it just messes with our hormones, and it ends up, we need that, we it makes us dependent, we need that in order to feel that pleasure or that happiness, right? And that serotonin gets suppressed, which is related to happiness mostly, gets more and more suppressed. And that's why a lot of people that have a problem with alcohol also have depression, because that just suppresses all the neurotransmitters, and it just messes with brain structure.
Yeah, I mean, alcohol is a depressant. It's a CNS depressant. So, initially, because it will hit your dopamine neurotransmitters, it'll make you feel better. But coming off of it, it makes you feel worse. So it makes depression
Hmm.
even worse.
Hmm.
So tell us, Sylvia, the details as we wrap this podcast up. Tell us the details of the process of what somebody would do to download this app and then go through this program.
So this app is in App Store and in Google Play, as you can see in the screen. And you just download it and see the instructions. And then little by little, day by day, you'll have day one, as you can see in the little iPhone in there. You have day one, and then you have the to-do tasks. And you can have a look at all the tasks. And then on day two, the tasks for day two will open. And then if you don't have time for doing it for on one day, because life gets busy sometimes, you can always go back to it and do it the day after, right? So it doesn't have to be 30 consecutive days. You can do it yourself in at your own pace. And so the first 7 days are free, so you can have a look and see if you like the program. And by day 7, you will see that there's like good content, because apart from that, we also give little tips or little exercises, because sometimes alcohol makes us be a bit less connected to our loved ones, or it makes us forget to check our own health. So we have little reminders to send a message to someone that you love, or go to the doctor to check your blood pressure, and many, many more like that. And on day 8, it will say, now you would need to pay for the subscription, but the subscription is $30. So we always say 30 days, $30. But I'm going to send you a link so you can link it to the description of this podcast when you upload it as well, that the listeners will have a special discount. So if they click through, like if they download the app through that link, they'll have a 20% discount. So it's even cheaper. And also, if like we're promoting, if someone is trying to reduce their alcohol intake or quit at least for a month, that money will be could be good, like better spent in our program like that, because it's not unaffordable at all.
Yeah, that's very, very affordable. And let's face it, especially if you're drinking out, $30 is 2 drinks. Seriously.
Exactly.
I mean, really. So, and if you're in Vegas, it's 1 drink.
Yeah.
So Sylvia, you've definitely helped us realize our goal today, which is to educate and empower individuals to take charge of their own health. And I really appreciate that. So thank you for being on.
Yeah, thank you so much for the opportunity. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. And if you will hang on after the podcast, I want to chat with you a few minutes off there.
Yeah, sure.
So, listeners and viewers, thank you for tuning in to Health Solutions with Shawn and Janet Needham. Tune in Thursday to our midweek podcast, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Thank you for tuning in.